waste of time. For us, that's what matters to us.
Wonderful. Because during the build-up, there were quite a number of competing surveys. I remember I had a show with you and Smart Sapong, and there were two very different methodologies. I think at the time you said because you had done 2.5 years of work, you believed that cumulatively it was a better tool than a snapshot. And somehow that seems to have become the standard now.
Yes. You know, when you've done polls consistently using the same methodology over 2.5 years or 3 years, it tends to remove all the abnormalities in the polling. And you tend to have a smooth curve. So if you look at our trend curves, it wasn't zigzagging, it was smooth. And that was the assurance that we were doing something right.
Because I think one of the key issues that came up was that you had done 88 or so constituencies, and he said he had done a larger sample size. But your point was that you always randomize the 88 and you still get the same result. And I think that randomization point is very critical.
Absolutely. Once you lose that, then you lose the ability to generalize it properly. Because if you go on the tangent of purposefully sampling the places, the human biases sometimes feed in. Which one do you leave? Which one do you pick? And that is a problem. But once you run it through a simulator, you can't get it wrong.
So this one we are coming to talk about is the national tracking pool.
Yes.
What is this and how different is this from the other things you've been doing in the past?
You know, we've learned a bit of lessons from the previous one. We wanted to enhance the accuracy of the work we do. So we are combining mode of surveys to give us a better way of reaching out to so many people who sometimes you don't get to meet them in the field. So for this particular April poll, we've added online or web survey. The web survey enables us to reach certain class of voters. Ideally, the voters who you will not meet in the street to talk to. They are mostly driving in their cars. You can't stop them and talk to them, but their views matter. We believe that they are on social media, especially on X. So when we put the survey on X, linking it to the real survey, we tend to get that class of voters to respond to our personnel. But then we get the regular people, the Tom, Dick, and Harry guys in the field to interview them. But going forward in July, we're going to be adding telephone polls. So we have 3 modal.
So face-to-face, and then you have web-based, and then you are adding telephone.
Yes.
So is this the first post-election sampling tracking poll?
Yes, that's the first post-election tracking poll.
Wow. And this data was taken within which period?
Between 25th and 1st April.
Oh, so yesterday, and so maybe just this week?
Just
so
yesterday.
This is fresh?
It's fresh.
Have you shared this anywhere?
Not yet.
Wonderful. So you are privileged to be taking the first consignment or first installment of this. Now I'm going to focus on some things. So the direction, what are the issues important to Ghanaians? We'll find out whether that has changed. Then we'll look at the direction of the country, the president's approval rating. Then we'll look at the standards of living and people's expectations on that. We'll look at the corruption fight. You included the IGP and people's perceptions of his performance. And then the state of 3 topical issues, which were what? Galamsey, Dumso, and Free SHS.
Yes.
But then there's a second part to this, which is 2028.
The crystal ball.
You look into 2028 crystal ball already.
Yes.
Just 3 months into Mohammed's administration. So let's start with the first issue. So the key issues for the country, economy, unemployment, education, has this changed?
It hasn't changed.
This is the same?
Consistently, it hasn't changed.
Wow. So economy is number 1.
Number 1.
Unemployment number 2. Education number 3. Was 4 and 5 also the same? Roads and healthcare also in the top 5?
Yes, top 5, yes.
Wow. 3 months is a short time to change. So these are hard trends.
These are hard trends.
Since you began in 2022, this is what you've been seeing?
This has been consistent, yes.
Wow. So the government knows what to do. Now, the first interesting thing was this one, direction of the country, where, talk me through this. What's happening with direction of the country? What's going on here?
I mean, Bernard, it's a complete flip from what we have come to know in terms of direction of the country. If you look at the data from the last tracking poll we took, which was in October 2024.
Maybe let me go to the screen and show that so that we can go through. So direction of the country.
Yes.
Blue means what?
No, October.
Blue is October.
And then green
is
now.
Now.
Yes.
So right direction, what does this mean? 31-62.
In October 2024, the last tracking poll, 21% or 31% of voters said Ghana was headed in the right direction. 62% said wrong direction.
So you compare blue to blue,
blue to
October.
Blue. Yes.
So 31 right, 62 wrong, 7 no opinion.
Yes.
This is October.
October.
Now green is now.
Now, green is now.
Wow.
62% right direction. Complete turn of event.
And this has come down?
Yes, to 26%.
And no opinion has gone up?
13%.
This is massive.
It's massive.
Wow.
It's massive.
Now, the next thing which I found interesting was when you broke this down regionally, every region apart from Ashanti, actually every region has more than 50% right direction, except Ashanti.
It's Ashanti region.
So, look at the bottom. Ahafo 61, Ashanti 39, Bono 75. The highest approval rating was Northeast.
Northeast.
For the country, 86%. Followed by Volta, 81.
Yeah.
Any surprises there?
I think Northeast is a bit surprising.
This one?
Yes, because that's hometown or the home region of Dr. Bawun Bawumia.
So for the 86% said the country was in the right direction. Mm-hmm. Are you surprised by Ashanti? 53%?
No, I'm not surprised, no. Because if Ashanti had gone the other way, that would have meant something for MPP.
Is this 39 high? The fact that 39...
No, it's very high. It's very high.
Okay.
It's very high.
This is a busy slide. Now, this is interesting.
The same around party lines.
So for NDC supporters, 84% says it's in the right.
Yes.
11 says wrong. For MPP, 37 right, 48 wrong. I'm not interested in. I'm interested more in this one. This one.
Yes.
What's going on here?
Again, in the same direction as the first issue.
Approval rating of the president. Okay.
Now, he's approved by 66% of voters.
66% of voters?
Yes.
Wow. Whereas Akufo-Addo was 36. 36%. So in October, Akufo-Addo's approval rating was 36. Yes. Mahama has a 30% point higher approval.
Yes.
And those who disapproved of Akufo-Addo were
59%.
Mahama is only 23.
23%.
That's interesting. The other thing I find interesting, when you compare approval rating of the president to the direction of the country,
they move in the same direction.
Yes. So 31-62, and then you have 36-66.
Yes.
So actually, the president has a higher approval rating
than the direction of the country.
So you can say that people are happier with the president than even with the overall state of the country.
Absolutely.
By a 4% margin.
Yes. Yes.
Very interesting. Now, the other thing I found for your comment was that when you go across as well,
the same pattern. But
only Ashanti.
Even that is by small margin.
So Mahama does better in Ashanti
than the direction of the country.
Wow. So he's very popular.
Yes.
And which region is in the most popular? 89
Northeast again.
But Volta is 90.
90, okay, 90 Volta, and then Northeast.
No, Savannah is 95.
95, okay.
His home region, wow. It's pretty popular. Lowest is Ashanti, 42.
42.
And then Eastern is 53. So this follows national voting patterns.
Yes. And something is showing again here. Only Ashanti region is the odd one out. I think towards the end, I'll show you something.
So Ashanti is the only place where Mahama gets below 50%.
Yes.
Or his government gets below 50%.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you did this for parties, it's the same.
The same.
A high proportion of people in NDC think Mahama is doing well, and then the rest of that. Now, then you did something called approval of government.
Yes.
What's the difference between that and the president?
The government is the whole gambit of the government machinery, including the ministers, the president, and his appointees, and how they are perceived to be doing.
And in that as well, you did excellent, very good, average, and poor. Again, when you compare this to October, wow. So in October, only 9% thought Akufo-Addo government was doing very well.
Yes.
Oh, that very excellent.
Excellent.
And it's now 21.
21%.
Then you take good or very good, 30 has gone to 55. Average 12 has come down to 9. So if you add excellent and very good, you can say Akufo-Addo was 39, Mahama is almost 76. Wow. So the government has a high approval
Than even Mahama, if you compare.
And this survey was yesterday. Today is 2nd April.
Yes.
So yesterday.
Was concluded yesterday.
So despite all the things that have happened, Wow, interesting. So the approval rating of the government is high, the direction of the country is right, and the president is liked.
Yes.
In the first 90 days.
First 90 days.
Okay. Usually, that's your honeymoon period. So this is probably the highest they will get. Generally, of course, it depends on performance. But generally, presidents tend to be popular at the beginning of their term than the hard decisions.
Unfortunately, we didn't have data of 2017 to be able to look back and say...
Do you have 2021 data? Though?
No, we started 2022 tracking poll, yes.
So from 2026, we can start comparing.
Comparing, yes.
Akufo-Addo to Mahama. All right. So these are the top lines. I like the economic question. What question were you asking them?
We asked them, compare
standard of
in
living.
the last 12 months. Would you say that the standard of living has improved or gotten worse or unchanged, or you don't have an opinion?
In the last 12 months, would you say the standard of living has improved, gotten worse, or it's the same?
Yeah.
In October, 25% said it has improved, and 47 said it had worsened, 21 said it has unchanged.
Yes.
Now, half of the people say their standard of living has improved.
Yes.
Wow. Is this a reality question or a perception question?
This is reality, Bernard. Economic question is not perception.
So you are not asking them whether they think, you're asking them whether their life has improved.
Yes.
So in 3 months.
No, remember in the last 12 months, so they will be calculating.
Okay. So this is people in April
2024 to today.
I get it. So half of the people say their life has improved.
Yes.
Only 14 say their life has worsened.
Yes.
And then 30 say it has not changed. Wow. And then there's also a question about their expectation, right?
Yes.
So
optimism.
What does this question mean?
We asked them whether they are optimistic that their standard of living today would improve in the next 12 months. So we look behind 12 months and looking ahead 12 months.
Which is something a lot of businesses do.
Exactly.
Business outlook.
Outlook, yes.
So you're asking, do you believe things will get better?
Better.
In 2024 October, 40% said yes. 20% said no. 40% said, I don't care. Now 65 is telling you yes.
Yes.
So there's high optimism.
Very, very high.
Wow. And the 20 hasn't changed.
20 hasn't changed.
Wow.
So there are no opinions. They don't have an opinion. They have moved from no opinion.
Okay. Yes. So a lot of the people movement here
came to.
I get it.
Yes.
So a lot of the people here have now come here.
Yes.
So a lot of people say no opinion. It was actually no.
Yes.
And then they ran. Okay. Now let's come to state of corruption. Why do you add corruption to this?
This is constant question we've been asking for ages.
Okay.
And one of the regular ones we'll be asking anytime we go to the field.
State of the corruption fight.
So if we ask them, what do you think about state of corruption in Ghana today?
Okay.
Is it improving? Is it getting worse? Is it the same? Or you have no opinion?
In October, it was 20% said it was improving.
Yes.
52 said it was getting worse. 24 said it was the same. Look at that.
Look at that. Yes.
20 to 56%. Corruption is improving. That means corruption is being tackled better.
Yes.
Wow. That's more than double.
Hugely.
And then the getting worse people are only 14.
Yes, 14%. Just 14%.
Wow. So this explains the election result.
Yes.
In a way, if corruption was an issue. Although in your top 3, corruption was in the top 5.
No. I think this is also a reflection of what people perceived is being done now to tackle corruption.
There's a more interesting question which you asked, which I think is actually the question of the day.
Now, this is very interesting.
In the regions.
The region.
Yeah.
Every region except Bunu region, majority of them are saying that it's improving. Even Ashanti region, majority said it's improving.
So this is the line to look at, improving.
Improving.
66, 51, 36, 60, all the way through. Wow. The thing I thought was the biggest issue in the corruption fight is the next one, not this one. Fighting corruption is a similar question, right?
Here we ask them, do you believe the government is doing enough
to fight corruption?
To fight corruption?
It jumped from 29 to 59.
Yes.
So they think Mahama is doing more than Akufo-Addo did
in fighting corruption.
And those who said he's not have reduced. I think the biggest question for the corruption fight was this one, the league table of most corrupt. Now what I want to do with this one is to skip to this first. In August 2024, this survey agreed with NCC and agreed with yours. This was Afrobarometer. So I just wanted to remind listeners that in 2024 August, the police was the what?
Number 1.
This was number 2.
The presidency.
Tax officials number 3. MPs number 4. Judges number 5. EC number 6. Assemblies number 7. Civil servants number 8. Assembly members number 9. Executives, traditional leaders, public, all of that. This was 2024 August.
August. Afrobarometer.
And this agreed with your October.
We didn't do this.
You didn't do this for October?
No.
No problem.
This is the first time we are doing this.
How many of the following people do you think are involved in corruption, or haven't you heard enough to say? So police, presidency, tax officials, this is August. Now, your result, serious. Number 1 is police still.
And the way we asked them was, which of the following public institutions do you perceive to be corrupt? Rating them, 1 being least corrupt and 10 being most corrupt.
So the higher the score, the worse?
The worse, yes. So they go through every institution and assign a figure to it.
So it's not like you did it open-ended. You gave them the institutions and they should rank.
Yes.
And police top. They've always been topping. Oh, police. Even with Dampare gone, then whatever.
Maybe the new IGP should be monitoring. In fact, this one, sometimes we'll be monitoring going forward. Constantly. So you can see whether the police number will be coming down or going up. Because if you're an IGP, you should be concerned that that number is...
I recall the previous IGP wrote a statement after one of these corruption surveys to say that the methodology was unfair also. I don't know. So police still perceived as most corrupt?
Yes.
Number 2 is immigration?
Immigration service, yes.
Hey. Number 3, judiciary?
Judiciary.
Then number 4 is tax officials, GRA. It's very similar to the Afrobarometer.
Yeah.
But there's one major difference. The presidency is missing in the top.
Now the presidency has gone to the last but 3. In fact, the least.
Wow. So the presidency is now down. They don't see them as corrupt.
No.
Even ministers are at the bottom.
Yeah, at the bottom.
Well, they haven't had enough time to start their corruption yet. I'm just joking, but
no, that's why this baseline poll is very important.
Yeah.
So going forward,
we'll check. Which means that in the first 3 months of Mahama, ministers were at the bottom because there's no evidence that they are corrupt.
No.
So if this was high, it will be. All right. So the key topics here: police still being number 1, judiciary being in the top 3,
and
revenue being in the top 5.
I think they've gotten worse compared to Afrobarometer.
Let's go to Afrobarometer. Judiciary was number 5.
Now they are 3rd.
Tax was number 3. As I say, tax haven't had a lot of chance to to work yet under the new government. But it's very interesting. So government officials lowest.
Yes.
Religious leaders quite low. Presidency in the bottom.
In fact, they rank slightly on the same level as military. Military used to be the...
Military used to do well. Military used to do well. I see them.
They didn't feature in the last Afrobarometer here.
Yeah. So these guys should be worried. Police should be worried.
They should be worried, yes.
Judges should be worried.
Yes.
Immigration should be worried.
Yes.
Tax officials were 3, is now 4. Presidency should be happy.
And improve on it.
Ministers.
Yes.
So if they behave the way they behave from January till now, it will serve them well.
Yes, it will serve them well.
Wow. Quite interesting. Let me see what else we have here. Let's end with Dampare for the first part. So what was this?
You know, we wanted to see how Dampare performed during the elections in the eyes of voters.
Okay.
So we asked them to rate his performance for the electioneering period.
Just for the election period?
Just for the election period. And 14% said excellent.
Excellent, 14%?
Yes, excellent. 59% said very good or good.
Wow. So almost 73%.
Yeah.
Excellent and very good.
Yes.
That's
huge. That's huge.
Dampare. And then 21% said average.
Average, yes.
A honey hole.
Very poor.
So only 7% said very poor. But that is amazing.
That is shocking.
For the police service to be seen as the most corrupt, but for the IGP
performance to be seen.
Wow, this is incredible. But there's something that's funny here. So even though this is very good, your next result confused me a bit. So 60% of people say Dampare did very well. Another 15% said very, very well. Yet when you ask the question about whether they support him to be removed, what are we seeing?
53% support his removal.
Wow. Wow. That doesn't make sense to me.
No, they said you've done very well in the elections, but I think you must go.
53% said they agreed that he should go.
Yes.
Even though 59% said he did very well.
Yes. But it was 73%.
Yes.
So a drop of 20%.
I get it. Because if you add 14 to 59, 59, that was high. 29% were neutral, 18% opposed. Could this also be that even though people think he's a good IGP, they think the president has a right to change him?
It could be.
Yeah, because this may not necessarily mean that they are not happy with his work.
No.
Or
no.
It could just mean that they believe a new government should be able to change
the IGP as and when they feel.
But which is funny because civil society groups, some tend to disagree. They think that, I think Imani went to court on this, right?
Yeah, they did.
So that's possibly against public opinion.
Against public opinion.
So what you've done, which is helpful for us, is that when we discussed Dampare, we couldn't distinguish between his performance and support for his removal.
Yeah.
But I think you've done a great job for us by showing us that you can think somebody did well, but still think he should go.
He should go.
That's pretty. Although this was just an election-based question, if you had asked overall 4 or 5 year tenure, it may have been a different outcome.
No, we asked that question before, I think, the October poll to rate IGP. It was very high.
It was still very high.
Very
so
high.
His public persona and performance is great.
It's great.
People believe he should go. What about the new IGP? Did you ask about him?
Yes, we did. We asked whether people have confidence in him.
And they are...
58% said they have confidence.
Oh, that's good. That's good for him. 58%. So and then 30% say they are neutral.
Neutral.
So only 12%
have no confidence in him. It's a good start.
He should be happy with that. Which means he has a chance to
improve on it.
Yeah.
If he slips, it will catch up with him.
But that's great. 58%. So is it Dr. Yohunu?
Yeah.
IGP Yohunu?
Yes.
I've been struggling with the name. Some say Yohunu.
Christian Tete Yohunu.
Some say Yohunu. All kinds of accents. This is the point of view. Tonight, Mussa Dankwah is my guest, and we are looking at his latest survey. We call it a tracking poll. This looks at governance, the government performance, and the rest of it. When we come back, we'll look at some 3 key issues. The fight against Galamsey. Would look also at the issue of Dumso and free SHS. And then in the last bit, we'll tell you who voters are looking at for 2028 in NDC and MPP. All these and more on The Point of View. Stay with us.